Hi, hope you all having a good day. In the last video, I built this latest stand with the drawers and leveling casters. So you can go check that one if you haven't already. I will leave the link to that video somewhere on the screen or down in the description. Next up is building a cabinet or a stand for the drill press, and that's what I'm gonna do today. The complete build plan and cut list for this build and for the lathe stand are both available on my website if you're interested. All right, let's begin. This build uses only one sheet of 3/4 and only a third of a 1/4 inch plywood. First, I break down the plywood into smaller and more manageable pieces. Then over at the table saw, I cut them down to their final dimensions. And for some long pieces, I cut them down to their final length using the miter saw. I also cut some 1/4 inch plywood to size for the drawer bottoms. Using painter's tape and a Sharpie, I marked down the pieces to avoid any confusion during the assembly. Using these height gauges, I set the height of the blade to 3/8 of an inch to cut a groove on one side of the drawer sides and the drawer fronts to accommodate the drawer bottoms. I could have used a dado set, but since these grooves are less than a 1/4 inch wide, I decided to use my regular ripping blade and run the board in 2 passes. The thickness of the blade is 1/8 of an inch, so I ran all the pieces once, then tried to sneak up to the cut to make sure that the drawer bottoms can easily fit into the grooves and it's neither tight nor loose. When I was happy with the fit, I ran the boards for the second time to cut all the grooves. Then I drilled some pocket holes since I'm using pocket screws to assemble the drawers and the carcass. The next few steps in the building process, meaning assembling the drawers and the carcass, installing the drawer slides, attaching the drawer false fronts, and installing the drawer pulls, are the same in almost every drawer build. In the last video, I went into details on how to do these steps. There's a link to that video on the screen and in the description, so you can watch it if you need a more detailed explanation about the assembly process. Here I am going to stay quiet and just let you watch the whole process. I always try to have all the machines and the cabinets in my shop on casters so I can move them around easily when I need to. This cabinet is no exception, so I flipped it over to install casters. These casters have a locking mechanism so I can lock the cabinet in place when it is stationary. I mark the location that I need to pre-drill, then I put a piece of tape on the drill bit so I know that I'm drilling to the certain depth and not more. For the top, I'm using this off-cut birch butcher block. It's a leftover from a project and it just happened to be the right size for this project. But in the plan, I use a piece of plywood with hardwood edge banding for the top. I sanded both sides and all the edges up to 220 grit, and then I applied 3 coats of dark walnut Danish oil for the finish. To smooth the sharp edges, I put a small round over on all of them. Okay, before you jump into the comment section with anger and outrage and be like, "Hey, you should have done the round over before the finish." Let me say that I know, I forgot, and I'm doing it now. Besides, after I apply the finish on the edges, I bet you can tell the difference. To secure the drill press on the top, I'm using 1/2-inch bolts and nuts. So in order to drill holes for the bolts on the top, I place the drill press on the top and use a Sharpie to mark the location that I need to drill. Then I drill the holes using a 1/2-inch Forstner bit. I cut small slots on the rails to screw the carcass to the top through these slots. So in case of any seasonal movement, there will be room for expansion and contraction. Then I place the drill press on the stand, pass the bolts through the holes and tighten it with nuts and washers from below. Then I just put the drawers back in and called it done. Alright, there you have it. This was an easy and fun build that can easily be done in a day or a weekend. The next episode in this building shop cabinet series is to build a stand for the oscillating sander, but I may postpone it for now because the holiday season is already here and I need to make some gifts for my friends and families. Some of those gifts needs to be shipped abroad, so I would like to have them ready as soon as possible. I'm going to spend 1 week and I'm going to challenge myself to see how many gifts I can build in that 1 week. So that is probably going to be my next video, and subscribe if you don't want to miss that challenge. As always, thank you all for watching and I will see you in the next one.